2021 Shannons Insurance NTE Series is back, all thanks to our series sponsors. Shannons Insurance, Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning, Tim Nickel Photography, NP Style Signage and Graphics, Auto Inspections and Road Services NT, Roadrunner, and of course, Matty Cav Media.
Three, two, one, drop it. Are you ready for this?
Hello and welcome to the Shannons Insurance NTE series. We are back for round number 3, and of course this week it comes from the historic Oran Park out of New South Wales. Once was a absolutely fantastic racetrack, but now turned into a housing estate. But the best thing is, in iRacing, in virtual world, we can get back here and recreate some absolutely fantastic racing. Joining myself, Matty Cav, back in the commentary box for another round, and of course back for the NTE series for year number 2, Teagan Peck.
G'day, Matty. It's great to be back for round number 3, and yeah, as you said, absolute historical place of Oran Park in New South Wales. It's it shut down in I think it was 2010, and but yeah, like you said, the beauty of iRacing is that we can actually keep it going and keep racing there. And I'm really excited for tonight, Matty, because it's a completely different setup to our other tracks. It's a very tight technical track, and it's actually our shortest of the series by nearly 2 kilometers. So the track itself is only 2.62 kilometers in distance. So, and it's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, you're right, and we've got a couple of other things. Because of the short distance of the track, let's have a look at this as what we've done this week. And we do have some qualifying groups, and this is how it's going to happen. We're going to have Group A, Group B, and it's just due to the fact that this is such a tiny circuit, 2.61 kilometres, hard to get 40-odd cars out there and group them up to let them get a clean lap in, and that's what it is. We want them to have a nice clean lap, so you can see Group A up there, Patrick Bailey, Paul Mansell, Justin Cotter, Jack Gray, Mal Powell, Craig Anspach, Matthew Burns, Evan Cooklinus, Rodney Jessup, Ryan Robson, Dylan Sates, David Kern, Tim Nickel, Julian Murrumbito, David Worrell, Michael Halkitis, Daniel Norris, Craig Spencer, Michael Gore, Nick Sutton, Guy Leach, and Steve Sanderson will be in Group A, which we'll see come out in the first half of qualifying, of course, 30 minutes up there. Second half of qualifying, we'll see Callan Gear, Dan Kerr, Michael Quain, Tyrone Anderson, Sam Dicker, Kevin Norman, Michael Strzelecki, Tommy Orton, Shane Newens, Mark Peck, Nathan Norman, JD Luke, Jacob Dickman, Jake Burgess, Michael Hayes, Matty Parker, Rossi Johnson, Michael Freeman, Tim Gracie, Jack Widders, Scott Perrins, and Chris Burnett will come out in the second group. So we're splitting the between 2 groups because, well, we just needed to, really, is what we needed to do. We needed to make sure that happened to find out exactly what is going on. So that is how it was at the how it's all been split up at the moment. So we'll see what has to happen tonight. Of course, this is how the 2 qualifying groups are going to go, and you can see they are already underway and starting to get those warm-up laps done. Now let's have a look at last week. Of course, great round 2 prizes that came out of Phillip Island. Timmy Nickel, he just had one of those nights, didn't he, Teagan? That just was unfortunate. It looks like he's got the Roadrunner Tough Luck Award.
Yeah, absolutely. So $20 thanks to Roadrunner. As you said, yeah, just an absolute rough run there for Timmy Nickel. But yeah, unfortunately with racing in general and iRacing, that's the way it goes. And of course, thanks to Airs NT Auto Inspections and Road Services, the Hard Charger Award of $25 in iRacing credits, that goes through to Daniel Norris. So the Hard Charger Award, of course, is for the person in the main race who can make their way from the furthest point back to the furthest point forward and make the most amount of ground. So Daniel Norris did a fantastic job. I'm just trying to find where he actually finished. I'm not sure if you have that.
He finished 15th and he started 16th. So he only made one position in the end, but he did get involved in that early incident, which put him all the way to the back of the pack, and then he had to work his way back through. So that car carried a fair bit of damage throughout the start of the race. Remember, you only get one quick repair as well. So Quite a bit of damage on that one, as you can see. Let's have a look at the championship. Well, let's have a look at who won last round. Of course, Jack Wittes, super dominant once again. Qualified half a second faster than anyone else in the field, like he did the week before. Guy Leach made it home in second, so the Injectors Online team get themselves another podium. He was third in round one, remembering that. And Kevin Norman in the Flat Out Karts entry managed to get there in third place. Now, he started out of position 7, so he actually did really well, Kevin Norman, to work his way through the pack. And there was plenty of people there that didn't quite make it there as we look at the championship points at the moment. Jack Wittes, perfect. 2 wins from 2, 300 points on the board. Guy Leach has a third and a second, comes in there. Paul Mansell, this is the man we talk about, made an uncharacteristic mistake, spun around by himself last week, Tegan, and I think it's just all those hours comfortably behind the wheel of a GT3, and he got behind a supercar, and they're not that easy to move around, are they?
Yeah, definitely right. Completely different beast when you really look at the V8. You know, I mean, really the elite in the motorsport scene in some people's eyes, and fortunately with iRacing, not quite as good as what you'd want to see. And they do tend to lose traction fairly easily, so you've got to be very careful. I myself had a bit of a crack at Oran Park earlier today and could barely put a lap together, so I'm interested to see how these guys go. Have a look at the rest of the championship points. So in 4th position, our fearless leader, Jakey Burgess, sitting there on 222 points. In behind him, Kevin Norman, who finished on the podium last round. 6th is Michael Freeman. 7th is Dylan Sates. Nathan Norman sitting in 8th position, and then back to Ryan Robson in 9th, and Dan Kerr sitting in 10th. Just outside the top 10's the one I want to talk about there. Matty is 11th position, Mark Peck. He'll be absolutely stoked with himself. He's done a whole lot of work, has old Marky, and he's got himself up there to 11th position on the points score so far after 2 rounds.
Mate, that means he's in the top 30%. That's what he's got to look at.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't have a 4 in front of it, I reckon he'll be pretty happy just to be up there. So, Craig Anspach didn't join us last round now. He qualified 2nd and came 4th in round 1. So Craig Anspach, I have not seen him pop up in tonight's previous testing early in the practice round. So that's a bit of a shame there because he was quite good for the Tank SRT team. Daniel Norris in there, Michael Aukitis in 14th, Michael Gore 15th, Callum Gear 16th, Matty Parker 17th, Stephen Sanderson 18th, Justin Cotter, Shane Ewan's just in the top 20, so they'll be pretty happy now. Jordan Cox is outside of that top 20. Didn't make it back last week. He only made round 1. 21st, the Beerbulance. We're pretty happy about that one. So, but
absolutely.
As you can see, everyone up there, everyone's fighting this out in the championship. Let's have a look at how they are going in qualifying right now, though, because we'll bring it up. This is our first round of qualifying, like we say. We've only brought out half the field, and at the moment, Ryan Robson leads that with a 105.078. Now, in the practice session I was watching earlier, Jack Wittes, he was 104, but there wasn't, I think he was the only one I seen to a 104. Maybe someone just snuck in the final couple of laps, Team.
Yeah, that's right, and yeah, Jack Wittes. I mean, he's been really unstoppable in the first 2 rounds. So it'll be interesting to see. He's obviously in that next group of qualifying sessions. So it'll be interesting to see how he can actually put together his laps and where he'll end up here. So having a look at your top 10 there for the first qualifying session. So as we said, Ryan Robson sitting at the top of the tree with a 105. Back to Dylan Sates, Paul Mansell, Guy Leach, Norris, back to Sutton, Gore, Sanderson, Aukitis, and Worrell. As I say that, Malpal knocks Dave Worrell out of the top 10. So Worrell will go back to 11th position. Malpal goes up to a 10th position. So yeah, Matty, I'm really excited to see because, we're looking at the different timings and, you got 2 groups there. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see whether there's any sort of track tactics that come into this, whether anything changes throughout the sessions and whether maybe the later session gets a little bit more advantage with the cars being out on track. This track, though, in itself, Matty, is quite tricky, and everyone's going to have to be really careful in qualifying session just for the simple fact that it's quite easy to throw a wheel off the track as you're going through some of these sweeping corners. And as we know in iRacing, any contact with the wall or dropping a wheel off the side of the bitumen onto the dirt, if it registers with iRacing, that means that your qualifying lap doesn't actually stand. And 15 minutes, you're doing about a 105 at the top, and potentially back to a 106, 108 sort of time. And you start dropping laps off with only 15 minutes, and you've got your out lap that potentially takes up to 2 minutes. You really don't have a whole lot of time to put in your good laps here.
That's exactly right. You need to be really careful. Now, the other thing we need to have a look at also is pit exit. Now, that is going to be super tricky come race time, or even in qualifying, you need to be careful. But those guys are hugging that wall, really, aren't they? You need to be careful of the car that's going to come in. If you check this out, we'll see if the camera stays on the angle here. But just here, if you go as you come out, there is pit entry just coming up. Now, if you're following a car behind the rear wing and they suddenly pull in that pit lane, everyone uses as much of that road as possible. So that's going to be very tricky for them in racing. And in pit exit is the same. Is what you'll see is they'll come out and they're basically going to be alongside each other as they turn into the first little kink there, to the first little left-hand kink. And now that's going to be super interesting there as they rejoin throughout the race, especially we see a safety car with a lot of people pitting. So are going to have to be very careful in those two situations. We've gone through the numbers, we've crunched them a little bit. Now we're expecting about 2.2 litres per lap as they get around Oran Park. They do have a 40 litre starting capacity. That's the maximum they can start with, meaning that they're probably going to get around about 18 and a little bit of laps, so they want to do some fuel saving. They might get 19 laps in off that first one. Now, going into minute 5, what are we going to say? About 20 minutes they're going to get? They've probably got 20 minutes of racing in that first 40 litres. However, bring the safety car in if something could happen on it. 40 cars, small track, quite a possibility of that happening. Fuel saving, we could see him go, another couple of minutes out there, or maybe push himself to halfway. Remembering it is a 45-minute race, it's short, sharp, and there's going to be a lot going on in that 45 minutes. So look for the guys who can set up their crew chiefs properly. I mean, they can take up to 110 litres maximum. So these guys will be looking at everything. If the safety car comes out, say, 10-minute mark, do they just go in and fill up enough to make it home? And looking at that, the injectors online guys, Guy Leach and Paul Mansell, they seem to be the ones to watch when it comes to the pit stop times too.
Yeah, and that's the thing with this iRacing, and I guess it's really bitumen racing in general is that you're not only just tuning yourself into the track and knowing how to get around the track, but it all comes down to exactly how much time you spend in the pits, because that can really make or break a race here as well. So you brought up a very good point there where these guys leading up to this race would have done all their laps. They would have worked it out to the nth degree and done heaps of practice sessions, basically working out, all right, so if we're doing this long of a race, here's what I'll do, and if the safety car hasn't been deployed by this stage, I'll pit at this lap, or if it has been deployed, then I'll actually pit at this lap. So all that sort of stuff comes into it. And you talked about it, the pit crew, so there is actually an application the guys run behind the scenes that is basically a pit crew who sits there and talks to them, tells them when the leader's pitting, all different things, how much tyres you've used. There's plenty that goes into this, and some of the guys, especially when you start talking about the guys like Paul Mansell and Guy Leach and Jack Whittis, they're really they execute so well how they run these races.
Yes, that's exactly right. So they will have to be very, very careful. As you can see, a lot of names down there haven't made it out. They are in session in the pits mainly, the ones that you don't see with the position up next to them. They're our second group. They're Group B that are coming out halfway through this qualifying session. So it's going to be super interesting to see what they can do. And as we say in qualifying, that's one of the problems you get there, is the car goes off and it will null and void your qualifying time. Now, it's telling me, Tegan, which I don't think our field has put up there, which maybe I've missed this week, is that we've still got 47 minutes, so maybe they're going to give each group a half-an-hour qualifier instead of the normal. Split into 2 15-minute sessions. So we'll be interested to see if you set the session up here. But it's telling us we've got 46 minutes left. Maybe they thought it was going to be 2 half-an-hour sessions, but with a short track.
We were talking about it before, Matty, with practice, that Jack Whittis actually got himself into the 104 section, and just as we've been chatting away and as we were looking at one of the cars going off the track, Guy Leach has actually got himself to a 104.85, so he's at the top of the charts right now. So be interested to see where Jack Whittis actually stacks himself up against there, and if anyone else in this opening session can actually get themselves up to that 104 section.
Yeah, a 104 is where you want to be if you want to be in the top 3, is my sort of guess at the moment. Another one who's been really promising is Dylan Saints in the series. Now, just having a look at him throughout, of course, he was a tough competitor in the first season, but I suppose, I don't want to say novice, but probably newer to the sim race. He's currently sitting 7th in the championship there, and doing a nice job behind Michael Freeman, Kevin Norman, Jake Burgess, who are in front of him before we hit our top 3. So he's had some good results already, so we'll be interested to see how he goes tonight. But qualifying pretty strong for him, the 105.360 at this stage. Now, young gun Ryan Robson is back. He was P1 for quite some time there. He's a 105.078. He's just out of the 104s. but I'm sure his mum will be loud and proud at home cheering him on. And as we heard last week, despite us begging for his mum to bring him snacks, she didn't. So that's probably why he faded at the end of the race.
Started tiring out. Hopefully with this shorter racetrack, he should be able to last the distance, or he set himself up in the sim room with enough snacks and substance to get him through.
Yeah, he just needs an iced coffee and some snakes, and we're good to go.
Absolutely.
We don't want him sleeping in too late. Not going to school on time. Look, he slides the car around there too. That's a big slide from him. And like you say, very easy to put a wheel off here, especially once you come out over the bridge and down through Foster's Dip. And as he comes down to the final corner of the car, back on the main straight, you need to be careful that you don't run too wide. If you go too deep under brakes, unforgiving. That is a solid concrete wall. It does not matter what you try to do in the real world or the virtual world, it doesn't move, is the big thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Matty. Like, you know, we've talked about it before in the opening rounds, as we just see Jack Gray lose it big time on that corner. So yeah, as we talked about a little bit earlier, the traction control not always the best friend in these cars. But yeah, NTE Series number 1, the first season we ran with no damage, so it meant that basically you could bounce off walls, you could bounce off cars, and you actually didn't do any damage to the car, and it didn't really affect the handling. This time around, we've thrown in the damage, and that's where you start to see the results change for some of these guys. You know, where in the past, you know, they could bounce off something and keep the race going, they might lose 2 or 3 positions, whereas now they actually, you know, can potentially damage the driveline of their car, and, you know, or the front steering and all that, and rip panels off. And what that actually means is they then have to go into the pits and get a repair done. And as you said, only one fast repair. Other than that, they've basically got to sit there for what iRacing has decided that sort of repair would need. So that's where you see some of these guys might not actually finish a race, because they might pull in there and they might have 40 minutes worth of repairs in a 30-minute race, and they decide not to go ahead with it. So yeah, you know, that really can change everything. And with a tight track like what we've got here, Matty, I think that could really play into it. You know, if there's any sort of opening lap carnage, potentially we could see everything really change, you know, especially if any of the front runners get caught up in any sort of mistakes, and I guess when they get up on lap cars as well, it'll be the same sort of story.
No, you're exactly right there. And one of the other things it brings into it is you can blow the engines up in this thing. That's, you know, it is a virtual world. They've tried to create it as best as possible. Make downshifting too much RPM into it, things like that. You know, miss a gear and let it free rev too much, do that too many times, hit a wall too hard, engine's gone. Now, if you get a tow, that even adds to the time in which you can get back in. Like you say, with 1:05 around here, and you probably, even in race conditions, as the tyres start to go off, you're still going to see 106s. I mean, Jack Wittes is probably going to do 59 seconds or something stupid, because he's just been, you know, flying along the back at the moment. We'll give him the commentator's curse, maybe. I hope not, because he's been super awesome to watch, really, so far. But yeah, when you take all that into account, you can end up a lap down very quickly. And it looks like this is the last person, which is Dave Worrell, who's going to come in now, as that's Group 1 run and done. So Group 1 run and done, as we have a look down pit lane. They are sitting here ready to go. They're all, look at them all lined up now, though, to go out into pit lane. Here we go. Look at this. Is that JB?
Fantastic.
JB's lined up first. Is he? No, Jack Wittes. Oh, I think we got, I'm just going to see who else we got. Is Tim Gracie might be a bit further up the top. I'm just having a look if Gracie Betts running tonight. I'm sure he's got the boys in the background. No, we're all here. I'm just trying to see who's at the front now. Clay Richards joins us back in the, obviously back in the show tonight, which is good to see Clay Richards there rejoining us. It's one of our wild cards, and we're hoping to catch up on that work now. It's the man to watch, Jack Wittes. It is an outlap here in the Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tune qualifying here, but so far Guy Leach is number 1. So Group A, Group B, Group A have now done their 15 minutes. Forget that timer up in the top right corner. They've set the session really long, because I reckon what they've done is Race Control are doing this. So all the drivers are in our Race Control channel, so they know what's going on. And they've just allowed a little bit of extra time there so that they can let the cars release and let the cars finish their lap. That's why we're seeing more than half an hour up in the qualifying. So this is Group B. Jack Wittes, though, has been half a second faster in race 1 and race 2. So just to put this in perspective, Mount Panorama, Bathurst, he out-qualified everyone by nearly 0.8 of a second, 0.793 of a second. Last week at Phillip Island, he out-qualified him by 0.518 of a second. So the tracks have got smaller, but the percentage of time has probably got better. So let's see how he goes tonight. So Guy Leach is already at 104.8. I reckon I see Jack down around mid 104 earlier in practice. We'll have to see what goes on. JB's got the idea, though. Get in behind Jack Wittes and just follow him. Get the toe and
yeah. We talked about strategy before here, Matty. Strategy really comes into everything when it comes to racing. And have a look at where Jack Whittis has positioned himself. He's not in the middle of the field. He's not stuck behind any other cars. He's out the front. So he's really made himself in a prime position. There's a car ahead of him, but he's allowed enough distance here for qualifying so that if anything goes on, he's not going to get caught up in anything. He's going to be able to get clean air and get his laps run and done. And guys like Jack Whittis, Guy Leach, they're the sort of people who will put their fastest lap on the board as soon as possible, pull into the pits and wait to see if anyone can better it.
Good to see our chat is up though on the socials. Of course, you can send us some messages, let us know what's going on out there. Of course, good to see Bronwyn with us. Good luck, Jack. Well, I don't think he needs luck. I think he just needs to show up and do what he does every week. That's what's scary. That is exactly what is scary. He just needs to turn up and do exactly what he's done every week.
Fantastic looking car that Jack Whittis has put together here as well. It's a fantastic livery. Quite bright and stands out on the board. You can definitely always see where he is on the track at all times. And I really enjoy what he's done with it.
Yeah. And maintaining it throughout, which is good. We do have him lined up there. Where does he end up in the leaderboard there? Because I've just gone off the screen while I'm taking care of some stuff behind the scenes with Jack Whittis. Down there with the 105, really that's an outlap. You just be getting, getting used to the car there. So as they get around and warm these laps up too. So that's the other thing you got to remember. Much like in the real life, they do need to warm the tyres up as well.
Yeah, look at Jackie Burgess, put himself up on 4th position there in the opening lap. Tyrone Anderson, another one who in the 69 car has put himself up in 6th position. So really good to see some of these this next group already putting some decent laps together. Have a look, Dan Kerr's on there as well. He's gone to 7th position on his lap. So it's going to be interesting. One person that I think we might be missing here tonight, Matty, is Callan Gear. Of course, up in Darwin there was the Camp Fari run today, and I think Callan might have been racing in that. So I'm not sure if he was actually able to race home and get in, but it's a bit of a shame for him. It was either work or something else that always got in the way last season, but he definitely could have been one of the guys who ended up at the pointy end of the series in points, and missing around once again in a 5-round series is going to hurt the overall point score. And Callan, he's just a bit of a dark horse who could potentially bring together some good results.
And we did, and that's exactly what you were saying here. You can't miss around. There's no drop rounds in this series. It's 5 rounds. It's short, sharp. We're getting it all done. Next round is round number 4 already. Then we've got a small break of about 3 or 4 weeks. We'll come back in June. We finish it off with an enduro. So it's short, sharp, and no drop rounds. You really need to be there for all 5 rounds. Great to see the entries getting so quickly for this. And the waiting list, mate, if you can't make it for the rest of the series, the waiting list is out the door. So let us know, because there's plenty of people who want to get involved. And check out Tyrone Anderson getting it up on 2 wheels now in the Ayers NT entry. Great supporters of the series. Good for them to be on board for 2021 in the NTE series, of course, all thanks to Shannons Insurance. But Ayers NT doing a fantastic support for our series, and he's already got himself up in P6. Just seeing if he's going to move there with that last lap. Looks like he does not better his time. He's a 105.486 is his best so far. But what did I just miss?
There he goes. There he goes. He just went and put the back wheels off the edge there, so that'll unfortunately make his lap null and void as we jump on board the number 96 of Nathan Norman, currently in P7. So the Norman brothers, they're definitely some of the guys to watch out for in this series. I can't remember which one of the Normans it was, but it was the last round of the series last year, and they were right at the pointy end of the point score, and their steering wheel actually let go, and they ended up in the wall at Mount Panorama. So very unfortunate for them. Hopefully we don't see anything similar to that this year, and definitely not trying to give them the commentator's curse, but having a look, seeing whether Nathan advances there for position number 7. Doesn't, stays in position number 7. So still at the top of the board is Guy Leach at the moment, with Ryan Robson in behind, Dylan Sates in 3rd. Jakey Burgess still sitting there in 4th. 5th is Paulie Mansell. Tyrone Anderson in 6th. Nathan Norman, Kevin Norman in 7th and 8th. Dan Kerr and then Dan Norris in 9th and 10th. So we haven't seen Jack Whittis put together a lap to get him in the top 10 as of yet. Just trying to see whereabouts he's actually sitting. I can't see him within the top 20. So
I reckon he's actually gone the out of bounds. So he's done some lap times, but I reckon, like we say, if you brush a wall or you go too far over a curve, it null and voids your lap. Because I'm looking at his last lap times of 140, so I reckon he's come out and that's not the flying lap for him. And I reckon the flying laps we've seen means he has gone to the outer boundaries of the track and it has not registered a time. that's why we did not see him have a position at this point. I just don't know if he's going to ring up his current lap. He's going to come in late. And there you go. Is it going to count? This is it. Is it going to register? 104.511. It does. That goes through. P1 straight up there. And like we say, 0.3 of a second in front of the rest of the field once again.
Absolutely fantastic. We were just given a good talk to. And I was about to say, Matty, is that's the big thing, is you've got a 15-minute window to get your laps run and done and get a qualifying lap on the board and try and get up the top. And, you know, you've really got to make sure that you're not in your own head because, you know, these guys are, you know they can put the laps together, but if they start thinking about it too much, you know, potentially they start pushing off the track, trying to go faster and faster. So they've really got to be calculated in everything that they do as we jump on board with the number 73 of Kevin Norman, currently in position number 9. So both Norman brothers have gone backwards to 8th and 9th with Jack Witters going to the top of the tree. So we'll see if either one of those guys can advance their way. But, you know, sitting inside the top 10, Matty, it's not going to be bad. And, you know, the start of the race is really going to be where it's at.
Yeah, what do you remember Kevin Norman, though? He got 9th in round 1, though. Last week, though, he got on the podium. He got into P3, but he came from position 7. So although his qualifying hasn't been in the top 5, he has definitely made some inroads when it comes through to racing the flat-out karts. Mustang, of course, doing some fantastic things. Let's just jump on board with him and see if we get a current lap up for him on this one. As he comes around to complete this one, we'll see what time he gets as he crosses over the start-finish line. A 1:05.506. That actually does improve him up in 8, so he goes past his bro. Sorry, bro.
Sorry, bro. Just going to have to move on up here.
Yeah. You just got
a bit of a smoke show just ahead of him there, and that's going to be a big thing here with this entire qualifying session and with the race in itself, is being such a small track. You know, any sort of on-track incidents, you know, any of the leaders or the guys who are competing for the top spots are really going to have to be careful with what happens in front of them. You know, make sure they're not caught up in another racer's incident there as we jump on board with Dan Kerr in the BizCom number 55. So Dan Kerr just sitting in that final position in the top 10, holding out his spot in behind Nathan Norman. So see if he can move his way forwards or whether he can actually stay there within the top 10 for the qualifying session. I would say we have a few minutes left to go here, Matty.
Yeah, it's a bit hard because they did start a little bit later, so we didn't quite come in on the 15-minute mark there as they changed over. A bit of a lock-up there from Dan Kerr. Of course, the Alice Springs entry, of course, him and Steve Sanderson from the Jaws contracting entry. They're both from Alice Springs, and they were fortunate enough to invite us to get on one of the radio shows down there and try and promote the NTE series, all thanks to Shannon Insurance. So big shout-out to BizCom, Dan Kerr and the boys down there in Alice Springs, and fantastic they've got back behind it for another season, because we did have a couple of the guys. I do know, obviously, we did see Stephen Sanderson last year in the series as well, so it's great that it is an NTE series. Despite that, we do have a number of people from all over the place, and I did write it down here. We've got 21 people from the NT that entered. We've got 2 from New South Wales, 5 from Queensland, 3 from SA, 7 from Vic, and 5 from WA. So it's heavily in favour of the Northern Territorians, and let's hope that they can bring home the gold. Jack Witters, unfortunately, is not a Northern Territorian, but a 1:04.527 is an unbelievable time for him.
I think with those sorts of times, we'll claim him, Matty. I think as commentators, we actually have that right. As I say that, you know, you and I are both Territorians, but neither one of us sitting in Darwin or in the Northern Territory right now. But yeah, I think it's quite easy to say that we could probably claim Jack Witters, maybe even Guy Leach. We might even take him. Forget Jakey Burgess is sitting in third. He moved to South Australia, so you can sit in the South Australian.
Yeah. We're still a little bit further north than what South Australia. But, you know, just like Australians do in New Zealanders, we claim them. Well, the Northern Territories, we'll claim Jack. Just come up once, Jack. You came up for drifting once, just come. Oh, look, maybe you should come to the Triple Crown, that's what I'm saying, and then we'll claim you as a Territorian in the NTE series. How good's that? That helps out 2 clubs at once.
It's a great result for everyone, really.
Yeah.
So it looks like no one able to move forwards on Jack Witters here, as I guess we expected there. It's a decent gap between himself and Guy Leach, which I think will be really interesting. As you said, you know, it is our shortest track in the series, being only 2.61 kilometres in the distance. So, you know, that sort of gap is going to be very interesting in the race, and I think you'll be able to see him really advance on the rest of the field. And I don't know, lap traffic might be a big thing in this short track.
It could be come into play, actually, very quickly too. That's what I mean. It won't take 10 minutes to find the guys at the back. It could take a lot less, depending on what happens at the start of the race. If we see any incidents that do or do not call the safety cars, we get on board with Marcus Mark Peck, of course, a fantastic sponsor of the series. And this is his qualifying session. The Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tune qualifying. Now, he needs to bring it up a bit. That's all I'm saying. He's in 13th. He's sitting 11th in the championship, just outside the top 10. You know, if he can get up there in qualifying, maybe get a P5 or something, imagine what he could do. He might be top 10 by the end of round 3. Let's see if
you did right there. Sorry, mate. I was just had to step away for a quick second. I am battling a pretty fierce man flu right now, so I just had to blow my nose. And yeah, so no, you did right, and I think it'll be fantastic for Mark if he can get himself up in that top 10 on the point score. I think he'll be absolutely ecstatic.
Yeah, I reckon he would be too, but he's getting around there now and he's getting some stuff. Tommy Orton, he is going down. This is it, the first corner. Who's gone off on the brakes? That's it. It's very easy here to get that little kink. You've almost got to get on the brakes and ride it a little bit, then get back on it, and then hard on the brakes again. It's very easy to lock them up. But Tommy Orton, obviously in the Roadrunner entry, see him getting around here in the Commodore. Now it's already his bad time. Last week he stayed up late and didn't do too bad actually. He got himself a little bit of a result last week, which was good to see because normally Tommy Orton, anything after 6 o'clock, and you won't see him stay up any later than that. But last week he got 19th, but he started in 24th. So hopefully he can get a little bit better. At the moment he's sitting 20th when it comes to qualifying. So let's hope that he can bring this one home. I'm just going to bring up the times to see how he goes around in this lap. Of course, good to see all the second times come up, and that normally means they haven't gone off the track. If we see a second time with a weird number or doesn't record, the time's really low, it normally means that's because they've gone to the outer limits, and you're not going to see a lap time for them that actually gets recorded when it comes to qualifying.
Here you go. So because we know that you've got not a whole lot going on next week, Matty, Jason McIver has actually asked if you can split the NT guys up into regions, so that he wants to know whether they're from the likes of Malden, Nightcliff or Cullen Bay. He reckons it's just so that he knows what sort of mental state they're actually in at that time.
Yeah, I've got nothing to do. Nothing to do. I'll get that done for you between now and next week. It's not a drama. Why wouldn't I?
The bloke runs one online series. I think he's an absolute champion
mate,
now.
I mean,
he had 64 people in his production team. Meanwhile, you're sitting there and with Michael and his jocks in Darwin running the production for you. And good old Jace.
Yeah,
always tuning in to give us some advice.
Yeah, I love how he's got a team of people, Jace, and that's what we like. JB, what's he done? He is currently sitting third fastest now. He's going to be on the second row at the moment. It's a 105.072. He didn't do it that time round though. It was on lap 11 there, so a little while ago. But JB running all the series sponsors, of course, and doing everything behind the scenes. He's our fearless leader. We're not allowed to call him Scummo anymore. We've had to come up with a new name for him. It's Leisure Suit Larry, because I always see him leisuring around on weekends. What, he's on Stalker Book today, just having a great time last night out, while I'm here slaving away doing some overlay graphics for him. See? Tell you what, it's good to be the boss. Oh, look what's going on, Jason. We've got nose beers, vegan for Tegan. He's trying to get all your hashtags back up and going. That's all it is. He just wants to get all the hashtags going for vegan for Tegan. I'm getting it wrong already. Thanks, Jace. You're throwing me off, but that's all right.
You would have thought he would have brought out the brekkie with Becky. I'm sure that movement needs to come back. And being in Chinchilla now, there's multiple breakfast options. So it'd be nice if I could do a brekkie with Pecky sort of campaign there, and maybe find a lovely lady for myself.
Yeah, you reckon?
Absolutely.
Who's going to put up with you, mate? That's what I'm saying.
No one. Jumping back on board with Dan Kerr and the BizCom number 55. Still sitting there in that top 10. Having a look, Paulie Mansell's gone back to 9th position now. So been a bit of moving and shaking between the top 10.
Wow.
As I say, that Dan Kerr just goes out and Paul Mansell goes back to 10. Tyrone Anderson doing a good job to stay there in 9th position. He's been doing a fantastic job of this series. So yeah, good to see him as we jump back on board with the 96 of Nathan Norman, who's currently sitting there in 8th position. See if he can't move his way forwards. And sorry, I was just saying Dan Kerr dropped out of the top 10, but he's actually jumped up to 3rd position as I look up the leaderboard.
Right. Let the Alice boys do what they need to do. The BizCom with the business on board and getting it done at the moment, sitting in 3rd position now. Thinking about that, Guy Leach is not out there. Jack Widders isn't out there. He's done a 104.37 at some point, Jack Widders. Now, we got him with a 104.5 earlier. So somewhere there, we don't even need to follow Jack. We'll just talk. He's going to get talked about all night because he's going to start off the front. And again, he's done it by half a second. So I think we are coming to the end of this session and people are starting to quit out of here. Jamarcus will be the last one to come across, and we'll see if he records a time on this one. What's he going to do? And the 106.41 won't help him out there. 106.013 was his fastest. So looks like that may be our qualifying run and done there, as Jamarcus, the only car I can see out on track at the moment, and probably just saying, I am the sponsor of the qualifying. This is the Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning qualifying session. I will do what I want. Is that what you reckon?
It'd be an absolute power move if he just rolled around and did a 103 right now and just blew the rest of the field out of the park. I'd have been so impressed with him. I might have actually called him Dad for once.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the qualifying results. We'll bring them up on our screen now. Alrighty, so the NTE Series for 2021, well, thanks to Shannons Insurance. Let's check out the Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tune qualifying results. Jack Widders, no surprise, 104.37. Right up the top, Guy Leach in the Injectors Online entry gets him with a 104.88. Then Dan Kerr in the BizCom entry, a 105.07 in third. Jake Burgess with all the series sponsors, of course, in fourth place. Ryan Robson makes it into fifth, the young gun. Kevin Norman in sixth. Dylan Sates in seventh. Nathan Norman in eighth. Ninth is Tyrone Anderson. Paul Mansell in 10th. Clay Richards in 11th. Our wild card. So he is actually improving every week, Clay Richards. Daniel Norris in 12th. Rossi Johnson in 13th. Mark Peck back in 14th, so he's got a bit of work to do this week. Jack Gray in 15th. Michael Hackidis in 16th. Michael Gore in 17th. Nick Sutton in 18th. Tommy Orton in 19th. 20th was Stephen Sanderson. Shane Newens in 21st. Dave Worrell in 22nd. Mao Powell in 23rd. Justin Cotter in 24th. Tim Gracie in 25th. And then we go back to, I don't know where Rodney Jessup is and Tim Nicol now. They mustn't have recorded a time, Mr. Nicol, but we have seen him out there. So they've just gone out for a little bit of a practice session at the moment. Well, they are your qualifying results, as they are 30 cars out. Oh, well, there's some race control. We've got about 28 cars out on track. So this is our, this is a little bit of warm-up time at the moment, actually. So they get a little bit of warm-up time. Those might take a little bit of a break as we go through everything that's happening here in the Shannons Insurance NTE Series. Though what we might do is we might go up and actually grab a little bit of a word, of course, as we do each week. We grab a few words from a fantastic supporter and someone from the NT who supports all forms of motors racing throughout there. Adam Burgess, our chaplain, has put this together for us this week.
This weekend, our online racing series travels to Oran Park. Oran Park is one of many racetracks in Australia that has been retired and redeveloped. Houses now stand where people used to race. A number of drivers in today's event are racing Holden Commodores. Like Oran Park, the Holden company has been left to the history books. The Commodore is set to be replaced in supercar racing in the near future. Many of us felt sadness when Oran Park and Holden closed, but that is a reality of the world we live in. Things come and go, objects perish, the world is constantly changing. But we can take hope in the fact that God endures all things. We are reminded of this in the Bible. Psalm chapter 118 begins with, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever." We are further reminded of this in Hebrews, where it says, "Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever." We can find joy in things every day, but hope can be found in our everlasting God. Please join with me in prayer. Dear God, thank you that you are the everlasting Lord. We thank you that all good things come from you. Thank you that we have this opportunity to race this weekend. Thank you for the people that have organised the event. I pray that the drivers will find joy in the racing and the spectators' enjoyment in watching. Be with the officials as they make decisions during the race. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to thank Adam Bergen for taking some time out there to do the prayer for us back here for the Shannons Insurance NTE Series like he did last season. Josh Drage, our safety car driver, just warming that car up in case we need a safety car, which we are expecting on this little tight track as we get around Oran Park. Let's have a little bit of a look at the race preview. Don't worry about the times there because that's the best lap so far of this little session, but 2.6 kilometres out there, 12 turns. We're averaging about 144 kilometres. The air temp set to 22 degrees Celsius, track temp 23, so still pretty cool relatively. Low humidity, wind speed down to 13 kilometres per hour, and of course a northerly direction. As you can see, we've had 60 minutes of practice. We've now done two 15-minute qualifiers. Basically, we had Group A, Group B due to Oran Park being the size it is, and you can see that little twisty part there as you go around, and you need to be careful because you go under the bridge and come back around. Now, let's have a talk about that. Safety car restart. They've devised something up here to try and stop the effect of the small track the concertina effect when they go on the main straight. So basically after they come out of pit lane, they go under the bridge. The safety car will leave the pack. They will leave the leader and the leader will maintain their speed. And then as the leader goes over the bridge, they are to restart the race. So they will restart coming over the bridge in the hope that we don't get the Constantina effect. We're trying our best to make this race as fair as possible for everyone out there. So we'll see what happens with that one. But as you can see, they're all out there just warming the cars up. There won't be too much time remaining this one, I wouldn't think. 5 minutes left to go through. Let's have a look, though, at the starting grid. We've gone through the results earlier, but let's have a look at the starting grid. Jack Widders right up the front did that absolutely amazing time, and he's half a second in front of the crew again. Alongside him, Guy Leach. Now, he was second last week. He is challenging in the championship right behind Jack Widders, so he'll be looking for a good result. And watch for him because he works with Paul Mansell, which you know means they've got their pit stop strategy down to a fine art, those two. Back in row number 2, though, you see the BizCom entry. Dan Kerr from Alice Springs doing a fantastic job just to sneak into P3 there in the final couple of laps. So he's just got the BizCom Commodore in there. Jakey B in P4 now out on the outside of the second row, of course, with all the series sponsors of the NTE series on board, and of course taking us through this fantastic series. Ryan Robson, the young gun, well, impressing his mum on the row 3 out of P5, and then Kevin Norman, who last week got into on the podium in third place in the Flat Out Karts Mustang. It gets out there on the third row in P6.
Yeah, starting out of P number 7 on the 4th row, we'll see Dylan Sates starting alongside the other Norman brother of Nathan Norman in P8. Going back to the next row, we see Tyrone Anderson starting out of position number 9. Great starting position there for Tyrone in the Ayres NT number 9 car. And then alongside him, of course, Paulie Mansell. Probably not where he really wants to be starting in position number 10, but still inside that top 10 in the Injectors Online entry. On that next row, we see our wildcard entry. The Shannons Insurance number 14 of Clay Richards starts out of position number 11. And then alongside him, we see the 27 car of Daniel Norris starting out of position number 12.
Yeah, oh mate, there's plenty going on here and some names we wouldn't expect to see further back. Rossi Johnson, though, has got the Texworks Mustang up there in P13 alongside Jamarcus on row 7. He's on the outside in P14 in the Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tune Commodore. And, of course, then you see Jack Gray and the Pool Guys Commodore on P15. P16, though, is Michael Haukitis in the Yingwati Mustang. Then it goes back to Michael Gore on the McGee's entry. And Nick Sutton brings up the Bearbulance in row number 9 out of P18.
Yeah, starting along that next row, we see Tommy Orton in the Roadrunner NT car, starting out of position number 19, and then starting alongside him is Stephen Sanderson in the Jaws Racing number 47. On the next row, we see the Ice Coffee entry of Shane Newen, starting out of position number 21. Alongside him, David Worrell in the 25 car, starts out of position number 22. Then we go back to the next row, we see the position number 23, Mal Powell, starts out alongside Justin Cotter in the Cotter Racing Team number 6 car in position number 24.
Yeah, 25 is Tim Gracie, and of course Gracie bet. I don't know who's running that tonight, but we have seen that come up. We've got the odds up there. He was about 3,000 to 1 last week to win, so we'll see how Gracie bet goes tonight, whether he's got his mates on there. I believe this is because Rodney Jessup and Tim Nicol didn't actually set a qualifying time. Now, I don't know if they didn't make it out. I thought I saw Tim Nicol out there, but if they've gone to the outer extremities of the track and it doesn't register a time, it means that then, or maybe they've just got mixed up with the race control with their 2 groups. I'm not quite sure, but we will see them move forward. So Rodney Jessup should start out of P26 in the ticket of approval, and Timmy Nicol will start out of P27 on the final row. And it could be anybody's race. Let's see how. Who knows? Dan Kerr is one I reckon to watch out of P3 there in the BizCom, because he has come from absolutely nowhere. Of course, the NTE series for 2021. All thanks to Shannons Insurance. What we might do is grab a couple of quick words from our fantastic sponsors.
The 2021 Shannons Insurance NTE Series is back, all thanks to our series sponsors. Shannons Insurance, Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning, Tim Nicol Photography, NP Style Signage and Graphics, Auto Inspections and Road Services NT, Roadrunner, and of course, Matty Cav Media.
Yeah, some absolutely fantastic sponsors, and it's great to have them back. We're at round number 3 here, coming to you from Oran Park. If you just joined us, doesn't matter whether you're on the Facebook or otherwise, you can go to Medicav Media at YouTube or Twitch and get us on there. Of course, all your comments coming through, so make sure you throw us some banner. And Tyrone Anderson's already been on there saying, can someone do the driving part for me so I can enjoy a beer? That doesn't sound like him. Doesn't sound like him at all.
Like he wants himself a beer, but he's made it in the top 10. So I think he's actually going to try now that he's actually made himself up there in the top 10. But yeah, as you said, Matty, throw us some comments because it's really what gets you and I going. If we can see the comments going, you're having a bit of fun with us. Jason McIver, like he normally does, he jumps on there and has a good laugh with us, and really make sure he has a bit of a chat and talks to us and gives us life advice, and asks us to fire him up and where the vibe is and all that. So it's, that sort of stuff that's really great.
It's all down to the commentators, mate. It's about the vibe, everything that goes on. What else?
Absolutely.
What else do we need to get going on?
A bit of atmosphere would be nice, I think.
We need some atmosphere.
A bit of atmosphere. Yeah, it's the only way you're going to make Pete McIver happy is if we get some atmosphere, as we have 3 seconds left of this warm-up. So not far away from getting the 45-minute race underway here at Oran Park in New South Wales.
Yep, so it's not far away. That session just gone under checkered flag. So that'll be run and done for them. So we are going to move into our race conditions in just a second here at Oran Park. Remembering that we do have 2.6 kilometres to get around, 12 turns at the short track, 2.2 litres to a lap is what we're expecting there under full race mode. It means we're going to get about a full tank of 100 litres, going to get about 39 laps. So we're not going to get all the way there. It's going to be very interesting. We're saying that we're going to be somewhere around the 20-minute mark is what we guess will be where we're expecting that we will see people start to pit. So around that is where I expect to see 20 minutes. They probably won't make 20 minutes if we don't have a safety car. That's what I think.
Yep.
So
I think you're dead right.
We got, yeah, of course you do. So
yeah.
We'll see how it goes here on the restart. Of course, getting ready to go here. Jack Wittes there starts to rev the car up. They're all making their way. I'm seeing them starting to come out on the timing screen here. We've got 28 cars. Tim Nicol hasn't made it out here, so maybe we're waiting on Timmy Nicol, or maybe he has had an issue of failure and has not made the race. That'll be super unexpected for him. So Jack Wittes starts out. Guy Leach alongside in the Injectors Online entry, and then it goes back to Dan Kerr. Oh, it's going to be a good one here as we get underway. 45 minutes ready to go here. Let's check out the start. Jack Wittes gets away there. Looks like it's pretty. Dylan Sates trying to make a move there on the outside. Rossi Johnson too. Here we go as we head down to the first corner. This one's going to be super interesting as they all start to head through. Very little kink here. They're too wide now as they go down the first corner. Check out, will we see anyone lock up under brakes in the background on the outside too? Looks like that's Ryan Robson doing a fantastic job there. Was in P5 at the start. So look at Dylan Sates. So he has made some huge moves there, and is he up to P3 already? So Dylan Sates, just what a start from him. Guy Leach moving back, so it hasn't been the best start for him. And who's sideways in the background? Paul Mansell.
Paulie Mansell. Yeah, Paul Mansell. We said it last week. Very unexpected for Paul Mansell to loop himself out as we have a look at the Shannons Insurance replay. And he just goes out a bit too wide there, throws it in the dirt and loops it around. And it looks like just about the whole field goes on by him. I was just about to comment, Matty, that I was having a look at some of the back markers, and I was so impressed there that we didn't actually end up with any crashes on this opening lap or anyone sort of losing it. And the whole pack has been able to sort of keep together. But as I was thinking that, Paulie Mansell loses it and goes backwards in the pack.
Yeah, let's go back live now. Jack Wittes leading us here at the moment, and look at that. Already opened up 2 seconds over Dan Kerr, so he's opened up a nice little lead. Let's check out this one though. It looks like a little 3-car battle we got going on. Dan Kerr under heaps of pressure. Dylan Sates makes contact too. That's not good. It's not what we want to see. Let's have a look at the replay of that one. Maybe we can grab on top with Dylan Sates and see if we can see what exactly goes on in this replay. He comes down here. Dan Kerr's a little bit wide. I don't know why he's there, but he leaves the gap open. Dylan Sates comes down, puts a nose in there. That's we'll leave that one up to race control. So Dan Kerr, after starting P3 there, has already turned around early in the race. So very unfortunate for him. Dylan Sates now will take over P2 and under pressure from Guy Leach, who is battling back to get into this race with Ryan Robson just hanging off the back of that one.
Yeah, it's a bit challenging, we talked about it, such a small, tight track, a big sweep of corners on them. And that's the thing, if a car's going to go out wide, you're really going to try and stick your nose in there and try and make a move. And, unfortunate there for Dan Kerr. I'm not going to say, whether anyone was in the right or wrong there, but, just went out a little bit wide. Dylan Sates stuck his nose in there, and, unfortunately, Curry just didn't quite get it to stay and end up looping it around. So, as you said, we'll see what race control thinks of that one. Oh. But Dylan Sates here under major pressure from Guy Leach. Ryan Robson in behind him and Jake Burgess. Kevin Norman in 6th spot. Nathan Norman in 7th. Back to Norris, Anderson and Johnson. That's your top 10. on this opening few laps at Oran Park for round number 3 of the Shannons Insurance NTE Series.
Yeah, Jake Burgess, another one who's gone back a couple of positions there. He's in P5 at the moment, holding on. Dylan Sates, so he's really impressed me. He has moved up 5 positions at the moment. Started out of 7th and moved up 5 positions in the P2. He's got a lot of work to catch up to Jack Widders, though, as he maintains this battle here. Guy Leach all over the back of him, but Guy Leach will be a little bit more patient, I think. And with that little lock-up of the brake we've seen from Dylan Sates a little bit earlier, going down into turn number 2, Guy Leach might be just waiting for another incident like that to happen where he can take full advantage of that one. As looks like we're already getting a race control sending us some messages here, so there's a little bit of stuff happening out on screen at the moment. We'll see what they've got to say about some of those incidents. It looks like car 21 drive-through penalty for car 55, so Dylan Sates is going to get a drive-through penalty, which means that it will take him out of that P2 position. So that's a Dan Kerr where he came down, nudged him, wasn't up the inside, and race control have, yes, taken that in, and drive-through penalty there for Dylan Sates. That's really going to hurt him after such a great start. Yeah,
definitely, and I mean, yeah, as you said, it hurts him, but obviously, you know, just looking at the stats there, Dan Kerr back in 17th position after such a great qualifying session, so I guess he'll feel a little bit better about the whole situation there, and we'll see what he can do. I mean, there's 2 players right there in 17th and 18th position who didn't have an ideal opening couple of laps, being Dan Kerr and Paul Mansell. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what they can do in these in the next 40-odd laps here at Oran Park as we jump on board with the P11 wildcard entry of Clay Richards in the number 14 car. So as you said, Matty, Clay Richards, he's gotten better and better every round, and yeah, he's sitting there at P11. So we'll see what he can do here as the race continues on.
Yeah, just having a look at some of them. There's plenty going on, really, and we've got a little bit of a paddle pack now between 4th place Jake Burgess here. Ryan Robson just in front of me, closes that gap right up. So it's Ryan Robson, JB, Kevin Norman, Nathan Norman, Daniel Norris there. They're in a little bit of a pack. There's a little bit back to Tyrone Anderson now, but he is under attack right behind him. He could make this time up very quickly, but behind him is Rossi Johnson, by the looks of it. Then it's Clay Richards, and then we go back to Mark Peck, who's now back into the number 11 where he's sitting in the championship.
Yeah, doing well there is old Jamarcus Peck. He's doing a fantastic job. I believe from insider intel, Mum actually got him new socks for the sim rig, and I think that's been what's changed exactly how he's been able to race. I think Mum went and got him some new, I guess, sort of high friction socks, which really mean that he can grip onto the pedals and really work them. And yeah, it's really paying off for him. So thanks a lot, Mum. You've done well. Dad's going to be happy about this.
They're the ones where you can jump around on the trampoline. Is that what it's like?
It's exactly them.
We give him a little bit of a break like I do. We head back to the beer village and Mick Sutton. But mate, there is so much going on in this pack at the moment. I mean, we need to go back to the little battle here, though. Ryan Robson is out in front of this little battle pack, and it's starting to bank up behind him. But he's got a bit of work to do for him now, up into 3rd position with Dylan Sates taking that drive-through penalty early. So we will have to watch as he comes around now. Jake Burgess on the back of him, and then it goes back to, of course, Kevin Norman and Nathan Norman. So this is the battle now for position number 3. Jack Widders has leaped out in front, and we're going to say his name because he is leading once again, 8.8 seconds out in front of Guy Leach, and Guy Leach now got 10 seconds over these guys. So very interesting there, and we'll see how we go as they progress through. But this one's going to turn into a nice, tight little battle at the moment. I can't wait to see how this unfolds. Ryan Robson did really well last week, and we know his mum is watching, and I hope he's snacked up this week. That's what we want. We want to make sure he's got.
We want to make sure that he's okay. He's got the sustenance to make his way through the entire race here.
Oh yeah, so Callan Gear's confirmed. He's on our Facebook. Race Camp Barry today, and he's a little bit worse for wear. So hopefully he did really well today, and hopefully he's not too worse for wear, but just a little bit worse for wear to make this round. We'll see him come out, of course, next week as we go to round number 4. But yeah, we're following this battle here. Watch out for Kevin Norman. Last week he came from P7 to finish 3rd on the podium, and he's just sitting there now in, obviously he's currently in 5th position now. He started out as 6th, so he's made a position. His brother Nathan Norman's made 2 positions behind him. Ryan Robson, who's leading, has actually made 2 positions up, so he got past JB on the start. Jakey Burgess, who's maintained his 4th position. How can he go this week? I mean, last week he got a 4th, he only just missed out the podium, and wouldn't it be fantastic to see the Shannons Insurance Commodore with all our great sponsors here from the NTE series to get him onto the podium this week, as Ryan slides it out sideways there and manages to keep control using all of the curve, being very aggressive in this race.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those tracks where you've really got to work it and make sure that you try and move your way forwards. And I was just having a look through, Matty, through the results off screen. So having a look at where Dylan Saint's currently sitting. So he's actually back in 21st position. So he's got a long way to go if he wants to make his way forwards. And just having a look, Paulie Mansell's made his way up to 14th position. Dan Kerr's back up to 15th. So some of those faster guys down the back end of the field are really starting to make their way forward and starting to move ahead. So we'll see if they can pull their way back and get themselves up within the top 10 as the race progresses.
Yeah, and the hardest part about that now is he has a hell of a lot of work to do to get back through those back markers, and that's the problem now. He's got to contend with old traffic really and see if he can turn that around. Let's have a look though. Race control just come through. Drive through for car 9 with contact, car 77, turn 2, lap 2. So car number 9 now is going to get a drive through. That's Mal Powell, who is currently sitting in 16th position. He will get a drive through after a little bit of contact with car number 77, which looks like Tommy Orton. And that might be why we saw Tommy Orton getting overtaken by Jamarcus a little bit earlier. And he moved out of the way, which was good, and let the cars go through. So already lap cars involved in this one, but of course, yes, you see, can't have on Mal Power up on screen at the moment. Unfortunately, we'll get a drive through. I'm not sure if we'll take it on this lap. He is behind the beer. Shane Ewan's behind him in the Paul's Ice Coffee. What's more territory than the Paul's Ice Coffee?
Oh, that's fantastic. I think we've seen it last year too. I think it might have been Brad Stott was running the, I can't remember whether it was Paul's Ice Coffee or whether he was running Farmers Union, but yeah, definitely as we see, who's that back there? I think that might have been Worrell taking a big, Justin Cotter there, who's locked it up in a big way coming onto the straightaway. This is the challenge, right? If they jump on the brakes too much and the fronts lock up, they really start to put it around, and you've got to be careful with when you start to plant the foot again and try and make your way forward. So it's very challenging. You've got to really go pretty easy as you go onto that final sweeping corner and onto the front straightaway, that you don't spin it around, as Justin Cotter just found out.
Yeah, Ryan Robson now looks pretty comfortable at the moment, and he's caught right up onto the back of Guy Leach. So this is super impressive that within a train, normally what you find is if you're losing your aero because the cars behind you are forcing you, you can't pull away from them. It's really hard to open that gap up. So the fact that this group behind are actually catching up to Guy Leach is super impressive. I mean, Jack Whittis has gone away now to an almost 13-second lead. I mean, he does not want a safety car because he is super comfortable out in front. But Guy Leach needs to watch exactly where he is. Now, I've only got a 4-car battle. I really could have a 5-car battle here at the moment. But looking at this, between 4 cars, we've got less than 2 seconds, and they've caught right up to the back of Guy Leach. He's still running that absolutely fantastic Anzac livery on the car this week, so it's good to see him still getting around. There was a fantastic show last week from Phillip Island, of course, we paid tribute to all the Anzacs, and what a fantastic show it was. And I was really thankful that Adam Bergen could put those great words together for us last week. But yeah, this battle underway at the moment. Of course, Guy Leach just leading, and he's position number 2, and it looks like he's just putting the foot down now. Maybe he had a bit of an off moment there somewhere. Already in the pit lane though, look at this. Paul Mansell is taken to the pit lane now. He is super cool, calm and collected when it comes down to pit lane, and we'll be interested to see the times that he pulls. So we'll be very interested to see what happens with him. A lot of them down already in pit lane, so we'll see what happens there. Tyrone Anderson's getting around, and he's got some traffic behind him too. Rossi Johnson, Clay Richards, Mark Peck all lining up as they'll go past those guys. And actually, I believe they will lap them, actually. That will put some of those guys in pit lane in a lap behind. But as we did say, they can take 110 litres of full tank. So let's just say they won't need to take 100 litres to get it all the way home. At the moment, we have 33 minutes left. Wow, do the maths on that one pretty quickly, mate. I will have to find my calculator. But we did say they could probably come in from about the 20-minute mark then. But they could come in early. This is what Paul Mansell's the best at. He's got to take the pit stop strategy out of it into play here, because he did not qualify exactly where he wanted to be.
Yeah, just having a look through as well here, Matty, off on my other screen. So having a look, it's back to about the 19th car. So 19 onward is all laps down, and the rest are all on current laps. So yeah, really challenging for some of these guys who are going to be a lap down. See what they can do with the pit strategy as it comes on through. Having a look at where Dan Kerr's sitting, he's currently made his way back to 12th position. Dylan States up to 14th position, and yeah, Paulie Mansell obviously taken his pit stop. He's in 22nd position and a lap down. So yeah, unfortunately there for Paul. We'll see what he can do in the later stages of this race. But good to see that Dan Kerr's been able to make his way back forwards and start to make his way towards that top 10. Hopefully we should be able to see him really advance forward. As I say, no, he's still sitting there in 12th position.
I just noticed something happened to JB. Something happened to Jake Burgess because he has just lost 2 positions and the Norman boys have gone past him. So Kevin and Nathan Norman have joined up and gone past him in 4. So something's happened to Shannons Insurance, number 100 of Jake Burgess, and he has dropped back a couple of positions there, which is super unfortunate. He's going nice there in P4, which will give Ryan Robson a bit of a reprieve though at the moment, because he can just start to pull away from those 2 now, and he won't have to worry about the aero so much getting under the back of him. So I'm just having a look up on my incident screen. I can't see anything for Jake Burgess. Maybe a lock-up break, which is
I'm
really
just having a look. He actually just went really wide on one of the corners, and it just opened up the door for one of the Normans. I'm just having a look which one. So
Kevin Norman came through easily.
Yeah, so Kevin Norman came through first, and then it was Nathan Norman just snuck on through as well. So it looked like maybe a little bit of door rubbing between the Norman and Burgess there. But yeah, really not much of a mistake. Jake just went out a little bit wide, and it just opened up the door for both those cars to come on through.
Yeah, you can see up there, that's Guy Leach just leading over Ryan Robson at the moment. But certainly Ryan Robson got really close to him at one point. I don't know whether he could make that catch up again as the Guy Leach. You can just see behind him, unfortunately, that was one of the cars that had a drive-through. Mal Powell and the number 9 in the background there, who had a drive-through a little bit earlier, and I believe we've got a safety car. That is what I'm hearing, safety car. So safety car is out. This is what we need to worry about, really, isn't it? Anything can happen under safety car conditions. Who's ready for this one? So I'm just waiting for the safety car to come out and find out where it is, because I haven't seen it actually hit the track, but I'm being told from race control that safety car is coming out now. So, and we've got to worry about that little restart too that people haven't really been used to as well. So safety car has been deployed, I do believe. We're waiting to see where they are out on track. Jack Widders obviously will have to pull in behind the safety car as we bring him up at the moment. So this is very interesting. We are 15 minutes into this 45-minute race, and there you can see the safety car is out in front. Now, we'll find out from race control whether the 2 in front, which looks like Michael Gore and Tim Gracie, might get a wave around here before the restart. We'll have to check that one. The other thing that could be happening here is we do know that with our lap cars, they have to pull in and drive through pit lane. So they actually get out of the way of the lead cars, and then they bunch back up, obviously, as they exit the lane so they can continue their fight. But look, the wave around there, and Jack Widders will be behind the safety car and restart. Now, remembering that when they do get the restart underway, you will see the safety car pull away as they go under the bridge. It's basically after turn 2, they'll go under the bridge, and then as they come around, the 2 right-handers and come up over the Yokohama Bridge, that's when Jack Widders will get the chance to restart this race. Super dominant, though, and behind him actually looks like that's the pool guys there. It's Jack Gray, so he is a car that is further back in the pack. He is a lap car as well. So Jack Widders, though, is he going to come into the pits? This is the question. Are they all going to pit now? Let's see how they come out. Now, Paul Mansell came in very early. A number of them did, actually. Paul Mansell, Michael Halkitis, Rodney Jessup, Justin Cotter. They look like they had some repairs. Tim Gracie. They all came in super early. So we'll have to find out exactly how this goes. That Michael Gore might be in there as well. Just trying to see that they've all pulled in. The top 10 are basically gone in. Dylan Sates now back in P10. So these guys are a lap down, so they actually have not gone back to the lead. So you would think it'd be pretty safe under safety car conditions that Jack Widders will come back out in the lead of this one. Nick Sutton's actually on the lead lap in the Beerbulance. As you can see him, he'll come around very shortly. You can't miss the Beerbulance getting around. There it is in the background. So effectively, he is actually your race leader at the moment. Tyrone Anderson now in P2, as it looks like he's left the pits. JB doing that as well. So Jack Widders has taken a lot of time in the pits. That's interesting. Jack Widders now has left the pit lane, so very late. He did himself a fair bit of work. He might have had an issue there with his crew chief. I think maybe he set that wrong and taken on a lot of fuel, especially with the safety car out there.
Yeah, it's definitely shaken up the entire order here, hasn't it? I mean, Nick Sutton sitting there up the top, he'd be pretty happy with himself in the Beerbulance car, sitting in first position, just ahead of Tyrone Anderson. Oh, it just flashed up for a second. Not sure if Nick Sutton is actually going in towards the pits. But yeah, look, I mean, great result here for the guys that we had a safety car and they were able to pull in, because that's another big thing, Matty, is that with entering the pits, especially with this one, it's such a tight entry, and you don't have a whole lot of runoff space like you do at places sort of like Mount Panorama and I guess Phillip Island as well. You've got a decent amount of runoff to actually be able to slow down. You've essentially got to just about lock it up as you come into the pits here to get it down to a speed. Otherwise, you're potentially facing a black flag. So the guys really have to be careful of that. So for a lot of them, the fact that they've had a safety car that they've been able to go into the pits, as you see, it looks like another car peeling off there, might be going towards the pits. They're pretty lucky here that they're able to jump in there under a safety car condition, and they're not having to worry about their speed too much.
Yeah, Dave Worrell's just jumped in the pits here in the background, and he'll pull in and grab himself something. As you can see, our backup safety car there. So your leader at the moment is Nick Sutton, Tyrone Anderson in second, Jake Burgess in third. Now, that's all come out of pit stops. Looking at Tyrone Anderson, he was only in the lane for 57 seconds, so he took 25 seconds of fuel. Probably expecting to be behind the safety car a bit, maybe a bit of fuel saving going on there. Jake Burgess took 28 seconds. Daniel Norris took 20 seconds. That's nothing. 31 for Rossi Johnson. Guy Leach, 18. Kevin Norman, 18. So they obviously didn't need to take a lot. That's enough to get them home. I mean, if we've got, let's say we end up with 25 minutes. Now, does the safety car pull away? I don't think it is as it comes under the Yokohama Bridge. So say we have 25 minutes left. I'm going to say, let's say they're going to do, out of that, you'd be lucky to do 25 laps, 2.2 litres a lap, 55 litres. So it's only half a tank of fuel they need to get this one home, would be my guess. That's not a lot of fuel they need to take on, especially if they hadn't run it empty already. So the splash and dash might be all they need. Grab a set of tyres and get this thing underway, because we are 20 minutes almost into this 45-minute race here for the NTE series, as you can see up on screen. Getting around, let's grab a couple of words from our fantastic sponsors.
The 2021 Shannons Insurance NTE series is back, all thanks to our series sponsors: Shannons Insurance, Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning, Tim Nickel Photography, NP Style Signage and Graphics, Auto Inspections and Road Services NT, Roadrunner, and of course, Matty Cav Media.
Who's that bloke? Don't talk to him.
Matty Cav Media doing a fantastic job to bring the live stream to us here for the NTE series, thanks to Shannons Insurance. And yeah, great to have all those sponsors jump on board for the second running of the NTE series, and what a great job that the entire team have done to throw this together. Jakey Burgess really ran with this idea back when the coronavirus kicked off, and racing in Darwin and really around the world was cancelled. So yeah, great to see us coming back, and I guess bigger than ever. It's we've had a lot of the guys return, some of the guys not, and a whole lot of new players come to the table. And well, I think it's quite unique. Five rounds, 45-minute races. It's not a big, long, tedious sort of thing. We get it run and done fairly quickly, and I think it's fantastic to have the viewers jump on board and have a look at what we're doing, and also a good chance for all the different teams to showcase their sponsors on an online platform, and keep racing.
Yeah, big shout out to Shannons Insurance, fantastic sponsors. As you know, we've had to drop a little bit of audio off those ads because, well, we did too good a broadcast, and some people didn't like that. So we've been kicked off the last couple of weeks, so we've cut the audio out for you. But need to thank Shannons Insurance, of course, 134646. Anything you need, they've got that great promo running at the moment where you can win yourself a Dodge Ram or an Indian Scout motorcycle. So get on 134646 or shannons.com and check out all the conditions to do with that, and we'll see what's underway. Safety car seems to be pulling away at the moment, though, so I'm just waiting to see if we get this race underway. Nick Sutton will lead us, but doesn't look like the safety car is pulling away at great speed. So I think we've probably got another lap in this one. So we're down to 23 minutes. So those that took the splash and dash are really the ones that are going to benefit from this one. They've done the undercut on the pits. They don't have to use a lot of fuel. Like we say, minute 5. So let's just say they do a minute and a lap. The best we're going to see now is 23 laps. Now 23 laps, 2.2 litres a lap, 50 litres. Now they started with 40. They wouldn't have used all that 40. Maybe there would have been 5 or 6 litres left. It wouldn't take long to put that in. So 18 seconds is quite achievable when you look at the times that you're seeing them in the pits at the moment, when guys like Guy Leach, Kevin Norman, Jack Witters took 25 seconds, so I'm actually surprised to see that he went that far back. I can't see even his pit lane, the time he spent in pit lane was only 56 seconds. Jake Burgess spent a minute in there, but he's come out in front, so maybe there's something we did not see on that pit entry. I'm just going to see if I can pull up if I've seen anything from Jack Witters here in the incident, obviously in our event screen, which I have not seen. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, I think the other thing there, I think the other big thing as well, Matty, is that for the likes of Michael Halkitis, Paul Mansell, Tyrone Anderson even sitting up there in second position, those guys pitted fairly early. Now, what's going to happen with them? Like, how much fuel have they taken on? Have they done enough? Or potentially do they come in early and have a different plan in mind that potentially might mean that they need another pit? Who knows? So we'll just have to wait and see exactly what happens and how it all plays out. Yeah, we will have to wait and see exactly what happens for the remainder of this race. It's going to be a sprint race. I mean, this is only going to be 20-odd laps. At the end of the time, basically what's going to happen is they will complete that lap, as that looks like Paul Mansell getting wave around now. So he is going to get back onto the lead lap. That's super important for him after really not starting where he should. What was he back in P10 or something like that? So I'm just going to have a look at where Paulie Mansell ended up starting out of, because it hasn't been another... Yeah, it was P10. Yep, he started out of there and spun on the opening lap. So it hasn't been another fantastic night for him either, which is super uncharacteristic. Again, last week he came for 24 hours doing GT3 racing. You jump out of a GT3 with traction control into a supercar, totally different beast. In saying that, Guy Leach did it. He came home and got second on the podium. This week, I just can't explain it. I'm sure he'll be on to me on the social media later on. Let me know exactly what was going on tonight, but it wasn't his night. Here we go, Jason McIver. Yellow, yellow, yellow. He's still there. Tommy Orton, where's the beers, mate? You've finally got... Where have you gone, Tommy Orton? You've pulled out already. He disconnected a little while ago. I think I understood that it was getting close to his bedtime, so he had to dart off.
Yeah, well, he's watching this in bed now. World's longest safety car is what he's telling me. It's getting slow, and we want to get back underway. Of course, we've got 20 minutes left in this race. We can't wait to see exactly what it's going to bring with 20 minutes remaining. They come round. There's lots to really find out what's going on. Ryan Robson now, he has moved down as well. Now, 25 seconds in pit lane, he's come out behind Jack Witter, so very similar times, and he was there in third position, so he's moved right back. Jamarcus, P10, will he get his first ever top 10 finish in the NTE series? That's all I'm saying. Will it happen tonight?
I think it could do. I think it's definitely... I mean, Jace McIver reckons before that he just washed his socks because apparently he worked out that you needed to wash them after 3 months of wearing them. But I think he's doing a fantastic job. He's been putting a whole lot of lap times in, and he's changed around his sim a bunch of times, and it's really paying off for him.
The socks, mate. It's all the socks.
No, it's definitely the socks, and the stuff that he hasn't told Mum about that he's bought.
Yeah.
Like it's his new wheel and his new pedals and stuff. And gee, I hope Mum's not listening.
Yeah. Have you got a jig shifter yet? They're a nice billet shifter you can get. They're pretty flash, brake bias adjusters and stuff. Brake lock-up from Josh Drage in the safety car, but they move away. All right, we can't be too far away from getting underway. Look, Nick Sutton now. They'll come around here. They'll restart this race as they go over. So not at this point here. He will have to maintain speed. Behind him is Tyrone Anderson now. For a man that wanted to give someone else the driving duties and get on the beers, he's doing pretty well. JB now back on the podium. Can he bring that one home? Then we go back to Daniel Norris, who's got in the mix here. Rossi Johnson in 5th. So Daniel Norris and Rossi Johnson up 8 positions. Nick Sutton is up 17 positions, but he hasn't pitted. He's not going to bring it home on this fuel. I don't think he can bring it home.
It'd be absolutely fantastic if he did. I'd be impressed by him.
I don't think it matters how much fuel saving he's done. He's not bringing this one home. The restart is underway and they are back under. Let's find out how it goes. This is what we tried to get away from, was the Constantina effect as you come onto the main straight. And it looks like so far it's working for him. He's going to have to watch out for Tyrone Anderson because he's definitely been much faster in the race. Like we say, Nick Sutton, the Beerbulance, has not come in for a schooner yet. That is exactly what's happened. He hasn't filled up on beer, and he will not make it to the end of the race. So he might come in on this one, you never know. However, that means that Tyrone Anderson now takes over. Jake Burgess in seconds. Nick Sutton moves back, hard under brakes, pulls into the pit. So exactly what we thought. He has moved to the bar. Tyrone Anderson now leading this race. Jake Burgess. Then it's Daniel Norris, and Guy Leach has done a huge one there. And Jack Widders, look at him starting to make his way back through behind Guy Leach. These guys are just diving in wherever they possibly can. Unfortunately, I didn't grab some of that because it's all happening. Ryan Robson hasn't followed him through though. He's got through a couple. Mark Peck is another one. Look at him up into P8 now. In the background you can see someone who hasn't had a great restart is Nathan Norman. He has moved back a number of positions because He was right up to about 5th or 6th. He's back in 10th now. So it's all happening at the moment. Up on screens, you can see. Let's bring them up. Safety car is not there anymore. Let's get rid of that one. Mark Pecto and the Pecky Performance and Dyno Tune, fantastic sponsor of the NTE series, now in P8 at the moment. Look at the battle though at the front. Mr. JB, he's up there.
Bit going on down the back too, Matty, is Rossi Johnson. I just noticed him dropping down in a big way, and it looks like there might have been a little bit of contact between himself and Jack Witters. It looked like pretty much just a bit of a racing deal there, but yeah, it looks like Rossi Johnson unfortunately turned around, and yeah, as we have a look on screen, I'm not sure if you're gonna. Having a look here, looks like he's getting swamped by.
That's Guy Leach like, there. I think this might be a bit too far back, actually.
Yeah,
the racing incidents happened. So we'll go back live, of course. Back with our leader, Tyrone Anderson there, as you can see up on the screen. There's NT entry. Fantastic supporters. How good to have our sponsors' cars right up the front? That's really where it is, and we've got them already going. Tommy Orton's there. He's in bed and ready to go. Here we go. We've, oh, no, race control. We've got something. They're sending us a message.
Yeah, so that's Jack Witters having contact with the 333 car, which of course is Rossi Johnson in turn number 2. So that was the incident that our court was talking about, and unfortunately there's a bit of a concertina effect there with I think it was Dan Kerr got caught up in the Viscom entry in behind them, and one of the Norman brothers was lucky enough to scoot on through, but I believe that one of the other ones might have been caught up with it.
That is super unlucky from the Viscom boys, because I tell you what, Dan Kerr's been super impressive. They're starting out of row 2 and P3 tonight after qualifying. Means Jamarcus though, he is now in P7 and on a roll. Hopefully we don't give him the camera curse, because the Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tune entry. Daniel Norris in front of him locks it up under brakes. Look, don't get too close to Dan, that's all I'm saying. Don't get too close.
Dylan Sates has done really well through this as well. He's made his way back up to 8th position after that drive-through penalty, after having a bit of contact between himself and Dan Kerr. But yeah, unfortunate there for Dan Kerr. He was, as we said just before, caught up in that incident. And he's now a lap down back in position number 22, so very unfortunate. But yeah, good work on Dylan Sates, getting his way back forwards, and as we jump back on board with Jakey Burgess.
Yeah, he's got past Tyrone Anderson. He's now leading the race. JB, can you bring it home? I'm sure your mum will be cheering you on the live stream. Can he bring home the number 100 with 14 minutes and 46 seconds remaining? So he's probably going to have to complete about 15 laps in this car. They've got plenty of fuel. Guy Leach looks like he's going by as well. He's going to move into second place now. So Tyrone Anderson just dropping off the pace. I'm not quite sure why that is. That'd be very unfortunate. I know there's a few guys here that have probably taken a lot of fuel now. That's going to be a heavy car, which could help you in some set circumstances, but there's going to be a lot of cars get light towards the end of the race. How skatey will they get, or do you want the heavier load there for the car to handle a little bit nicer in some parts of the racetrack? I think the guys with the light load will probably be really good, considering the tyre degradation. They're going to get on this hard, and the tyre lockup we are seeing at the moment. So you see Guy Leach has now moved into P number 2. Tyrone Anderson behind him just drops back. Kevin Norman now on a bit of a charge there. Ryan Robson behind him. Daniel Norris. Now Dylan Sates. Oh no, Daniel Norris, what's he done? Did he slide that car? But he got that underway again. I'm going to go back to an instant replay here because I want to see. That looks like he just got under brakes and slid this car around and held onto it. I saw a puff of smoke there. Maybe that was just me seeing something. There it was.
Oh, there we go. Jesus, that's impressive. There's a bit of drifting coming out, and he's done well to hold on to that, because it's very easy to lose the rear end of these cars and put it around. So yeah, he's done an absolutely fantastic job.
He has. Yeah, just remember the team of Triple Crown. What's that, 9th and 10th of July? So get on board, Norrie. That's all I'm saying. What's Jamarcus doing now? Paul Mansell's gone past him. Did he not want to scratch that beautiful livery job up so Paul helps him out with the livery? He said, I'm not going to upset Paul's livery.
Yeah, I've been having a look. I've got him up on my secondary screen and watching what's going on, and he's gone out wide on a couple of runs, and I think he might just be being a little bit of a gentleman here with some of the faster boys coming through. I think Dylan Sates, Mark banged off the wall and let him on through, and yeah, I don't know whether it's he's making a bit of mistakes in the later stages of the race here, or whether he's just been a little bit of a gentleman and letting these guys through, because yeah, Dylan Sates and Nathan Norman have both swallowed him up and gone on through. I'm not sure, has Paul Mansell actually got past him yet? Yeah, on my screen it's showing that he's behind him, but I might be
Paul Mansell's he's gone past Mr. PPS, and he's on track now to catch up to Nathan Norman, and he will be seeing red after being that far down. He's not liking being this far down in the group, although in a number of series I have seen Paul Mansell have to do the fight back. Normally he gets him under pit stop conditions. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen in this race. Oh, big break, lock up. Who is that in front? Is that Dylan Sates? Or Dan Norris, one of those guys has done. Let's just go back to a bit of a replay and see if that was Dan Norris or Dylan Sates on this one. Oh no, it's in front of him. Is that Mr. Robson? Wow, there's plenty going on there, isn't there? Because now we've got a little bit of a fight going on here for these guys. So Kevin Norman is gone past. Ryan Robson now is behind him. So Ryan Robson now sitting in 4th position. He's up 1. 3 positions up Kevin Norman, back in that position 3 where he ended up last week. But he started a position better because he was in P7 the week before. Can he maybe get the silverware this week? We don't know. Guy Leach is a bit further in front in 2nd position. JB though, Jake Burgess, just needs to stay cool, calm and in control like he always likes to be. Out in front, of course, Leather Shoot Larry. Look at him just cruising along out in front, waving at the ladies in the crowd.
Yeah, we talked about it before, Matty, is exactly what the pit strategies we're going to do here, and we're seeing it with only 11 minutes left to go. You got Jakey Burgess and Guy Leach in 1st and 2nd, with Kevin Norman on the podium as well. But Jack Widders sitting back in 14th position, though not where we've been used to seeing him throughout this entire series. But yeah, very unfortunate for him. As I say, that he's actually back in 15th behind Shane Newlands. So yeah, not sure what's happened with Widders. I'm not whether he's maybe had a bit of contact or something like that that's caused him to go backwards. But yeah, very unfortunate for him.
Well, I think he did get that penalty maybe from race control there with that contact earlier on Mossy Johnson. So Dylan Sates. So maybe that's what's caused him to go back in the field a little bit further. Let's see if maybe he can work his way back through in P15. But yeah, at the moment he's got a little bit of a lead in the championship there, sitting on 300 points. He's had a perfect run so far, and it's not over yet. Still 10 minutes to go, and you never know if we'll see a second safety car. Mind you, if we see a second safety car, it took a while to get that one sorted.
Yeah, she'll just about be done.
It could be
this race.
Could be a green white checker all in one as we get underway. The speedway talk there could happen. Could happen. You just never know. Jack Widders, uncharacteristically in P number 15 at the moment. He is pushing hard. Look at the car sliding around at the moment. And it's on good tyres. Got plenty of fuel. So that is just how hard he is pushing it. Just remembering last lap, the best lap he's done was 104.69 in race. Last lap was 105.159. He just completes that one. Looks like that will stay. Yeah. So a lot faster than a lot of the other people out there at the moment. It's sort of a lock up and whatever that Shannons in the Paul's Ice Coffee, just locking the wheels up in front, but plenty going on here in the field. Ryan Robson, as you can see up on screen, out of P4 at the moment, all over the back of Kevin Norman. He wants to get his first podium in the NTE series. Come on, Ryan. Mum looks like she's giving you the Snakes nice coffee tonight. You're holding on. We've got 9 minutes and 21 seconds left in this one. But yeah, you need to hold on to this one. P4 at the moment. He had a great result last week, but it wasn't a P4. That's what it wasn't. So let's see if he can bring home. He's been in the top 10 though, Ryan Robson. Let's hope he can make that happen. Tyrone Anderson got back to P5.
I've been a motoring enthusiast all my life.
There we go. That's just be careful what you're pressing. And unfortunately for me, I know what that's going to do. It's going to take us to another ad in a second, but that's all right. That's so that happens when you're moving around here in the studio. And
very exciting. Very excitable.
You hit the stream deck. Yeah, that's what happens when you hit the stream deck all of a sudden. So we'll try and keep this one going. It's going to be interesting for me up here all by myself. But Ryan Robson there is on the back. I'm going to have to watch what I'm doing, really, aren't I? I can't make this happen.
Oh, I love your work, Matty. And there we go. There's the other ad coming up. But yeah, Matty, you know, we got all the family members cheering on all the races online, except for you and me. There's not many people cheering you and me on this series, which is a bit unfortunate. But you know, you get that, I guess. But yeah, what a great result here for Jakey Burgess, leading this one from Guy Leach. See if he can hold on to it with only about 8 minutes left to go on this race. What a cracking race it has been, as we talked about throughout. It's 2.6 kilometres is the journey for Oran Park. So it's our shortest track that we actually run on by easily over a kilometre. And yeah, it's proved to provide some pretty fantastic racing. We've broken up the qualifying sessions into 2 groups, which has been different to what we've normally run, and had a completely different safety car strategy. And yeah, it's been quite interesting. It's changed up everything. Jack Widders sitting back there in 13th position. Oh, look at Mark Peck. Mark Peck. He's dropping back. He's in the pits. and there is smoke coming out of the car in a big way.
You know what that is? Change of socks.
Yeah, he's got to change the socks, you reckon?
Yeah. Fresh socks.
I haven't seen smoke come out of the car like that since Dad first started iRacing, and that's absolutely impressive from the big fella. He's done a good job. He's obviously downshifted a little bit too hard too many times.
Just trying to see who that was in the background. I've just got to watch this because it's going to change over one more time. I've got to grab this one very quickly or we go away. We can't play the audio, otherwise Facebook kicks us because some of our senior broadcasters there don't like the fact that Shannons ads because they own them, so they think they own them. So yeah, shout out to those guys. We're glad that we're on your radar. That's what we are. We're super glad. Jack Widders here goes to take 2 position at 1. Michael Alkidis on the outside. Can he hold on? Rossi Johnson as well. He gets past him, so doing a fantastic job. Jack Widders moves up to P11. Will he get back in the top 10 with 6.5 minutes left in this race? Jake Burgess still leading us at the moment there, of course, in the Shannons Insurance Commodore, but Guy Leach is right behind him. He's going to have to be careful because he's coming for him. He wants the goal. Guy Leach has had a 3rd and a 2nd so far out of round 1 and round 2. Can he make it a win in round number 3? Look, JB will be happy just to get on the podium. Let's be honest, JB will be really happy just to be on the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. This one's going to be a tough one. I was just thinking about it, Matty. This one's going to be tough to call for a hard charger award. Just having a look at, how many people have gone backwards and moved their way forwards. You look at the likes of Dylan Sates, Paul Mansell, Jack Widders, they've all really gone backwards and come forwards. So it's going to be a hard one to call here. And it's just been a fantastic race from the get-go, and I can't wait to see what the last 5 minutes have to hold for us.
Yeah, you can't give it to JB, that's the thing. We just can't give the hard charge to JB, although I would put him up there for the nomination at the moment because to see him, he hasn't really gone backwards in the race. He didn't get the best start. A few cars went past him. He went past a couple. He sort of maintained his position. Did really well on the pit stop though to get out in front of Jack Widders and a lot of others and get himself in contention to really challenge for this P1 where he's sitting right now. And he's going to have to do a lot of work to hold out Guy Leach because look at him coming. He is filling the side mirrors at the moment, putting the injectors on line entry on both sides as they go around. Guy Leach could make his move. He just caught up just over 1/10 of a second in the last half of a lap, so he will be right under that rear wing of Jake Burgess very shortly. And JB just needs to keep cool, calm and collected at the moment because Guy Leach being the faster car. Will JB put the elbows out and try and be a little bit defensive maybe?
I reckon there's a bit of sweat on the brow right now from our fearless leader of Jake Burgess because he would know exactly what sort of challenge, not even just from Guy Leach that's right behind him, although as I say that there's a lot of gap between Guy Leach and the 3rd spot car of Kevin Norman, and it just looked like Guy Leach was going to have a bit of a go there as they go on through, and Jakey Burgess locks up a little bit, probably from under pressure of having Guy Leach storming him so hard. But yeah, I mean, you look at the contenders that are just sitting in behind them with Kevin Norman and Ryan Robson. There's a lot of challenges here who could try and take the lead, but these 2 front cars really storming away. I mean, there's 9 seconds between Guy Leach and Kevin Norman, so really these front 2 cars out in a world of their own right now with less than 5 minutes left to go. But yeah, Jakey Burgess, as we talked about, got a lot of work to do here to hold out Guy Leach for these last remaining minutes of this race at Oran Park for round number 3 of the Shannons Insurance NTE Series. And now we just have a look at that too. Some lap traffic coming up to contend with as well.
Yeah, Tim Gracie there and does the right thing, pulls to the side, have the relative on him, will know exactly what's going on. Maybe a crew chief there talking as well, race control. But look at this, we come around, complete another lap. I do want to go to another couple of battles, but check that this is for the lead at the moment. And Guy Leach, I think, is going to have a bit of a go here. Doesn't look like he's going to close him up though on this one. He might have got a good run there for old JB as we might head back to Ryan Robson now, who's in front of Tyrone Anderson, holding him out. He's in 4th position now. Kevin Norman's moved a little bit away there, so Ryan Robson right in the middle. Dylan Sates has moved back up into P6, so he's gone up and down the field. And right behind him, who's that man? The marvellous Mansell. That's who it is. He was our NTE Series winner in, obviously, last year in 2020, the first time we ever did the NTE Series, all thanks to Shannons Insurance. So, but not having the year he wanted already. He's 3rd in the series at the moment, but that comes from a 2nd place, of course, behind Jack Widders, and then last week he came in 6th place. So he won't be wanting to finish any further down than that. Currently in P7, he won't be wanting to go backwards, and he'll be looking to make himself a couple of moves here. With only 2.5 minutes left, though, they're only going to get a couple of laps, probably 3 laps, complete laps, or 2 laps after this one, I would say, would be my guess. So we need to watch out for that one. Just having a look, though, race control sending us through another message. So plenty going on at the moment. Car 16, that looks like maybe receiving something. We'll just see what they put up. And looks like 10-second post-race penalty for car 16. So Ryan Robson, unfortunately, don't know what that is for, which means we're going to have to watch that one, because although we'll see him come up, we're going to have to take 10 seconds off that. And a 10-second post-race penalty, that's probably better though than a drive-through penalty. Way better than a drive-through penalty, because that really would put you back. Looking at the minimum amount of time in the pits to be about 50 seconds. So, that almost puts you on lap now.
Yeah, absolutely. You're dead right there, and he would lose a lot more space than what he would with the drive-through than what he would with the 10-second penalty. So yeah, probably a great result there for Ryan Robson. Probably not the one he was looking for, but probably the best of what he can actually get. As we were talking there, it looks like we got a new race leader in Guy Leach. So not sure exactly when he overtook Jakey Burgess there.
Yeah. I don't know actually. I just looked up at the time screen and saw, hey, he has overtaken JB for the lead, and JB looks like he's dropping off the pace a bit there, and he just couldn't hold him out. Guy Leach made that move happen, and looks like that is done. I'm just having a look. We are on lap number 35 at the moment. Of course, we think we got probably this one and one more to go. As your race leader's there, Jake Burgess now coming into lap traffic, but looks like Guy Leach does have the pace. Kevin Norman in third position there, and he's got Ryan Robson behind him, who's got a post-race penalty of 10 seconds. So really behind him is Tyrone Anderson, Dylan Sates. And look at Paul Mansell now. He needs to go up. He finished P6 last week. Can he go better? That's what he's looking for. He's going to have to start to make some moves, Mr. Mansell.
Yeah, I just had a bit of a look back there, Matty Cab. So Guy Leach was all over the tail end of Jakey Burgess there, JB, in the final turn, and was all over the tail end of him the entire straight, like just about touching through the whole thing. And then in turn number one, he just he stuck his nose in and made it stick, in a very clean pass at that. It was a great racing between the front two cars there, and a really a show of their technique and talent here, that they could get that pass done as cleanly as they could, and in a nice sweeping corner, and sort of no risk taken, with only a set amount of time left to go, less than one lap to go, and nice clean pass there between the front two cars.
Well, with this many seconds remaining, we are going to be on the final lap. So that's what's going to happen. We're on the final lap now. And just having a look at our leader, Guy Leach, let's have a look at where he is. He is down, he's just about to go over the bridge. So he is only about a third of the way through the lap, but he's going to go through some fast sweepers. Not long left now, probably about 40 seconds in this race. Now, Paul Mansell needs to make a move here. Oh, no, looks like Nathan Norman's going to get involved as well. He's now challenging Paul Mansell. Mansell out on the dirt, loses the position, goes back to P8. He will be filthy with himself. Absolutely filthy. Jack Whittis now moves back up into the 10. He's P10 at the moment, and right behind him, Clay Richards, of course, our wildcard entry, and of course son of Stephen Richards. So he is still back out there for his round 3, but they're doing fantastic tonight in P11. JB, let's see where he's ended up. He's just in the back as he comes over. JB gets there in third. Kevin Norman coming around to take third position. So we'll have a look at this as they go over, sliding through. Ryan Robson now remembering that he will have a post-race penalty there, so we'll have to see what happens there. Tyrone Anderson, Nathan Norman, Paul Mansell, what happens? Tyrone Anderson goes back, Dylan Sates ends up 5th, Paul Mansell ends up 8th, Daniel Norris there goes through for 9th, Jack Whittis in 10th. Then we go back to Clay Richards. Rossi Johnson now, we're waiting for him to come around. You can see there, he's had a night, been banged up a bit there, the 333, and we'll get the win there to come home in 12th. Michael Halkitis in 13th. Shane Ewan's the next one of our cars. The checkered flag is out to take it in P14. Jack Gray, the pool guys. I'm just trying to see where he is actually. He might be a little bit further back there, coming around the final couple of corners. So you see those other lap cars not involved in this final finishing, but Shane Newans is at the 14th at the moment. So Jack Gray will bring this home in P15. Nick Sutton there will come around to finish this race in P16. Jamarcus, well, he went in to change his socks. That was just a waste of time, because it's put him back into P17 at the moment, because he's behind Jake Burgess. So he might be run and done actually, because he went across the line there. So it looks like they have called him. Dan Kerrin 18th, Mao Power 19th, and Michael Gore will round out your top 20 here tonight. So it's a fantastic race here from everyone at the NTE series, and it's looks like a Michael, like Nancy, sponsored by the stream, eh? We like to give Mansell a lot. He's the champ.
The Cruiser Kid.
The Cruiser Kid. Oh, look at them. There we go. We got them lined up here on the start there. There's your winners at the moment as we check them out there. Finishing in number 1, Guy Leach in the Injectors Online entry. Second place was JB in the Shannons Insurance Commodore. And then the Mustang rounds out third place. Kevin Norman in the Flat Out Karts entry gets himself back on the podium for another P3. Absolutely fantastic night of racing. As you can see them up there. And let's just have a bit of a run now through our race results. So race results now for round number 3 here at Oran Park of the Shannons Insurance NTE Series. And it was Guy Leach in 1, Jake Burgess in 2nd, Kevin Norman in 3rd, Ryan Robson 4th, Dylan Sates in 5th, Tyrone Anderson finished 6th, Nathan Norman got past Paul Mansell in for 7th, Mansell ends up in 8th, Daniel Norris in 9th, Jack Widders in 10th, Clay Richards in 11th, Rossi Johnson in 12th, Michael Howkitis in 13th, Shane Ewins in 14th, Jack Ray in 15th, Nick Sutton in 16th, Mark Peck 17th, Dan Kerr in 18th, Mao Power in 19th, Michael Gore 20th, Dave Worrell in 21st, Rodney Jessup, the tick of approval car, comes home in 22nd, Justin Cotter in 23rd, Tim Gracie in 24th, Stephen Sanderson 25th, Tommy Orton out nice and early and on the beers, of course. So that's how it goes there, of course. Fantastic result again. Hard-fought race. That safety car came out for a number of laps there, and Jack Widders there, unfortunately, with a drive-through penalty after that. So there you can see them up on the screen. Let's check them out at the podium. We're going to go and see who we can drag in there and just see if our winner might be hanging around. Of course, I'm trying to see if Guy's in here, actually. So many people like to go under a different name. Here we go. You think we're going to... Leachy might be his name. Let's drag him in and move him into the area of the commentators' chat here for Leachy, and we'll see if we can grab him. He's probably muted, which we like to do. We like to make sure no one can actually talk to us. But Guy, mate, we've got you on. You've done it all now. You've had a third, a second, and finally you got that first place finish.
Yeah, bit of luck, unfortunately for Jack. I'm not sure what happened there, but I'll take that. I didn't realise the safety car procedure had changed in regards to random before the pit stop, so ended up in a little bit of traffic, but it was good fun. Had a good battle there with Jake and Ryan, I think it might have been.
Yeah, Ryan's in the mix there, and unfortunately he's got a post-race 10-second penalty, so we'll have to see where he ends up a little bit later. But yeah, mate, the Injectors Online crew, you guys seem to have your pit stops down to the fine art at the moment when it comes to how much fuel you got to take on. How does that all work behind the scenes?
Just lucky guesses, really.
Well, they're good guesses. Because there wasn't many people who took on that small amount of fuel, but you and a couple of others. But, I mean, Jack Widders unlucky tonight. Was it a bit of a shame not to battle it out with him in the final few laps?
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't have had Jack's pace. I was hoping to just get a second. I can't get this thing off the line, as you probably realised from the last few weeks. So I only lost 2 spots this week, which was an improvement on last week. So hopefully I'll get better again. But
look, unlike your teammate, you can stay off the dirt and get the car around. That's all I'm saying.
We won't be happy about that.
No, don't ask where he ended up, because he won't be happy about that either. So take the win and make sure he buys you a vodka cruiser, and it'll all be good.
For sure.
Thanks, mate. You got anyone else you need to thank?
I'd just like to thank Injectors Online, obviously all the series sponsors and the organisers and you guys. So, yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, no, it's been absolutely fantastic to have you, Leachy, and we can't wait to see what you bring in the next round.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
All right, so we move on to someone who we've spoken to every week, but we will we bring him in to have a chat, because he's actually got a podium tonight in all the sponsors' colours, of course. The Shannons Insurance Commodore comes home, the number 100. JB, mate, you've got yourself on the podium.
Yeah, pretty surprising. A wicked race. Like I don't know how I did it, but yeah, it was a good battle there with Guy, and hopefully it was good to watch. But yeah, I think the safety car caught a few people out. Yeah,
it definitely did, but it seemed to catch a couple of people out in the pit stops as well, because everyone, a couple of people, some mixed results out of that one, but you managed to get yourself out in good form out of that pit stop.
Yeah, I think it's all a bit of a luck of the draw, to be honest. Sort of, yeah, where it's called on the track and when you come in. So I must have just jagged a good time and, yeah, come out I think it was third I come out, and then, yeah, sort of just battle on and try and hold on to that first spot. I was devastated to give it away with a minute 30 left, but anyway, it was a good race.
Yeah, it's always devastating to give that away with a minute 30 left, JB. But look, congratulations, man. I suppose you want to run through all the sponsors, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I mean, they're plastered all over the car, and hopefully we got some good sponsorship, good viewing. But yeah, big thanks to Shannons Insurance, Tim Nickel Photography, Pecky's Performance, NP Style and Graphic, Airs NT, and Roadrunner. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, JB, and we'll speak to you soon, I'm sure, and you'll let us know exactly what we did wrong this week. So your mum's congratulated you on the stream, mate. That's all that matters. Mum's watching.
No.
And you didn't swear. That's good. Kevin Norman, we've dragged you into the commentators chat, and you got yourself another third place. And mate, not a bad place to be actually, considering the guys in front of you.
No, it wasn't. I chose the wrong decision under the safety car. I wasn't sure if you could pit under the first lap of the safety car. It turns out you could. It sort of screws me a little bit, but drove back forward again, come back into third, and yeah, can't complain. Consistency, so P3 again. Hopefully we can get a little bit further up next time, but I'll take it.
Yeah, mate, Jack Widdis a bit further down tonight, unexpectedly, so it should help all you guys out in the championship there, try and close that gap down a bit.
Oh, definitely. A bit unexpected with Jack, but it's racing and accidents do happen. So we've just got to keep our nose clear when we can and try to avoid that sort of stuff, which, you know, you got to try to avoid, but it's just part of racing, I suppose, yeah.
All the Flat Out Carts Mustang, anyone else you need to thank?
Yeah, big thanks to Flat Out Carts, Simfinity, Sam Dicker Motorsport, and shout out to Peter Bancucci for hooking me up with a sim rig. Cheers, mate.
Oh, it's good that we got racers helping racers, sim racers helping racers. So yeah, thanks, mate. Congratulations, Kevin Norman, on third place, and hopefully we'll speak to you again next week.
Yeah, mate. Hopefully too. See you, mate.
All right, now another one we've dragged in here at the moment is Clay Richards. Of course, wildcard been thrown into the mix here, and we've put him in with some pretty impressive drivers actually in the NTE series. But Clay, you've joined us in the commentators box tonight. Not a bad result, P11.
Yeah, it was a good result. It's always nice to move forward from your qualifying position, but we stayed where we were, so which is all right. But I actually messed up on the strategy a little bit, and I pitted a lap after the safety car had come out, so I kind of stuffed myself there a little bit, and then I got a stop-go penalty. So yeah, it was a disaster at that point. But to finish 11th was a really good result.
Mate, how much fun are you having as part of the Shannons Insurance NTE series? You're really enjoying some of the competitors that you're out there with?
Oh yeah, it's awesome fun, and I've got to thank Jake for bringing me along. It's so competitive, and it's really hard to keep these cars on the track sometimes, especially here at Oran Park. But I'm having a ball.
I tell you what, are you looking forward to the big enduro at the end? I mean, it's only a couple of hours, but we head over to Daytona from memory, so that's going to be another interesting track.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I reckon it'll be great. It'll be a long time in the car, but it'll be great.
Look, mate, thanks for joining us here in the NTE series. We wanted to get you on board, have a bit of a chat, but yeah, shout out to you, and great to see you running, of course, the Shannons on board for us as the wild card, and good luck in the next couple of rounds.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much.
Well, it's been another fantastic night here, of course, of the Shannons Insurance NTE series. Your winners there, of course, Guy Leach this time is the man who takes it home. Jake Burgess in second, Kevin Norman in third. Another fantastic night from those guys. Good showing. Kevin Norman bringing the Flat Out Carts entry home. Like you say, the pit stop strategy there, Teagan. Not everyone understood it, so it threw a bit of a cat amongst the pigeons for some of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think that's the big thing, right, is so... generally in iRacing, they would throw a normal safety car, which would be a yellow that is dictated by the computer, but we chose to go away from that just due to the sheer amount of time that it takes up. You're looking at 15 minutes that generally you lose from every single race with those sorts of yellows, and obviously tonight was a bit of a longer one, but generally we can get them run and done fairly quickly under this strategy. But yeah, it does throw in that confusion of when you can and can't pit, because you're not actually physically able to go into the pits with the normal yellow, but this one you can. So yeah, definitely changed everything up. And yeah, I think the point score out of the tail end of round number 3 of the Shannons Insurance NTE series is going to be really interesting here, Matty. I think it's going to be completely shaken up.
Yeah, it's definitely going to move some of the points around, and unfortunate for Jack Widdis, caught up in some traffic there and did not get the win tonight, but he was dominating once again and super fast when it came to qualifying. But it's going to be a big one, of course. We do it all again next week. Join back in Sunday night, whether you're on the social media, doesn't matter whether you're going to be on Facebook, YouTube or Twitch. Bring it all on, and we are going to see you then. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic one. I'm just trying to see where we're coming from because I haven't got that loaded in my system. But
we're at Spa next week.
We're at Spa. Circuit to Spa. I've just found found it. So that's actually a really great one there, and the Supercars are really going to love it. It's going to be interesting, that one. So can't wait to bring you that one there. Of course, same time, same place. Thanks, Tegan, for joining me again.
No, thank you, Matty. It's been fantastic, and I absolutely love when Jake Burgess brings us together. I think he makes these series up just so that you and I can spend some time together. But yeah, no, fantastic work once again, Matty, and absolutely love calling these races. And of course, thanks to yourself and Michael behind the scenes who help and bring together this production with Matty Cab Media. It's fantastic.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. Congratulations to all the winners. See you then.
I've been a motoring enthusiast all my life. My Coupe 4 is rare and very special. A real performance car with all-wheel drive grip. I'm not a car club bloke and I don't work on it myself, but I do have a great mechanic. One day, I might even get that HQ. When it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannons.
Shannons shares your passion. Call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
The 2021 Shannons Insurance NTE Series is back, all thanks to our series sponsors. Shannons Insurance, Pecky's Performance and Dyno Tuning, Tim Nickel Photography, NP Style Signage and Graphics, Auto Inspections and Road Services NT, Roadrunner, and of course, Matty Cav Media.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Shannons are giving you the chance to win 2 American Legends, an awesome Ram 1500 V8 quad cab. There's nothing quite like a full-size American pickup, and an Indian Scout Bobber 20 motorcycle, including up to 12 months Shannons car and bike insurance and roadside assist, plus $5,000 cash for eligible Shannons Club members. To enter, get a quote on your special car, spouse's car, daily drive, your bike, or home, or take out a new policy for more chances of winning. Call Shannons on 13 46 46.